we're back for our college football best bets here for week number 15. And with there only being 9 games this week, we're obviously not doing 10 best bets. We're going to do 5 instead. I'm going to pick out my 5 favorite bets this week, obviously with money lines and spreads. And we're going to do that instead of obviously doing every single game because that obviously wouldn't make sense. So I like the games that we have this week. Obviously a lot of opportunity. We're going to do 2 games on Friday and then 3 on Saturday. Now, if you want to see my full predictions, because we talked about every single one of these games in great detail earlier in the week, that'll be linked in the description down below. So go make sure to check that out. Again, we're not going to get through every single game. I'll tell you right now, there's no mention of the Troy Trojans taking on James Madison today because the line's like 22.5 points. But I did talk about that game in great detail earlier in the week. So if you want to see that again, hit that link in the description down below. But here are my 5 best bets for week number 15 of the college football season. Folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more college football content here on the channel. We'll be back again next Monday for our college football predictions for week 16. Week 16 is going to consist of 2 games, the Army-Navy game, 3 games, the Army-Navy game, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, and the Bucked Up LA Bowl. Will there be best bets next week for college football? Probably not. There's only 3 games. As the bowl season goes on, potentially, but this may be the final best bets video of the college football season because there's not a set schedule from here on out. There's only like 5 games a week. So yeah, this might be it, guys. Predictions are still every Monday. So if you don't watch the predictions, go make sure to check them out every single time, every Monday, 4 o'clock on Monday Pacific time. We're going to keep doing it throughout the rest of the season because we have a lot of bowl games to go over. Okay, on now to the first over 5 best bets. Again, hit that subscribe button down below for more. College basketball and NBA best bets are daily on the channel, and our NFL predictions and best bets are still going weekly on the channel as well. On Greedo Plays MMA this week, our UFC 323 predictions. Again, Merab Dvalishvili, Piotr Yan in the main event this weekend from the T-Mobile Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, on to the first for our 5 best bets today for college football. First up, Jacksonville State money line at home. I still don't get why this team are underdogs. We've literally already seen the game this year. Jack State won. Kennesaw State last week gave up 300 rushing yards against Liberty. What does Jacksonville State only do? Run the football. Guys, Kennesaw last week played Liberty and Evan Dickens. Dickens, obviously the lead back for the Flames. The guy had 43 carries for 267 yards. And yes, there wasn't much other offense for Liberty in that football game. And it got to the point, though, where the Owls knew what was coming at them, and they still couldn't stop it. And I like Kennesaw, okay? If I wasn't betting on the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, I would be cheering for Kennesaw this week. I've been cheering for Kennesaw all year long. I just don't understand why the value is where it's at. So I'm going to take the plus money here on the Jack State Gamecocks because they run the ball down your throat all game long. Coming off a huge game last week and a huge victory over the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. It was a win and in type game, and Jack State hits a game-winning 27-yard field goal to go to the championship game. Caden Creel, again, he can throw the football. He's capable of doing so. They will look to it a little bit, but if Jack State can get their way, all they want to do is run. And again, it's their quarterback in Caden Creel, who ended up taking the starting job from former Rutgers and Kentucky quarterback in Gavin Wimsatt. And it's going to be their lead running back, potentially the best G5 player in the country this season, Cam Cook. What Caden Creel and Cam Cook have done on the ground this season, it's nothing short of remarkable, right? Both of these guys usually have 100-plus rushing yards every single game. By the way, don't forget, Caden Creel's a freshman. Want to put that out there. The dude's going to be a stud. He has a chance of definitely being much better than Tyler Huff was, and Tyler Huff was a very successful quarterback at Jack State last season, which, again, he brought home a CUSA championship game by beating Western Kentucky at home last year in the championship game. But these are guys, again, in Creel and Cook, who usually both go over 100 rushing yards per game. Creel is only 27 yards short of going over 1,000 this season, and he didn't start the first 4 games of the year, so that's saying something. Cam Cook's at 1,600 rushing yards in his junior year. Either he goes to the NFL next year, or he goes to a high-level Power 4 program. If I'm Cam Cook, I'm going to the NFL. He played at TCU, played quite a bit at Texas Christian, but came to Jack State and became the guy. He's never going to have more momentum going into the NFL draft than right now. If I'm Cam Cook, I don't care if he's a 5th round pick. go get your shot and don't pull what Ollie Gordon did. Ollie Gordon could have gone in the draft after his junior year and bet a second-round pick. He waited, and now he ended up in the situation that he's at for the Miami Dolphins. So if I'm Cook, I'm going to the league after this, right? I'm using this championship game to leverage myself into the NFL draft. Play your bowl game too, maybe. I don't know, and see what offers you get for next season. But I'm going to the NFL if I'm Cam Cook. I just don't know how Kennesaw stops this. I like what Kennesaw does. They run the ball well. Amari Odom's a good quarterback. They will sprinkle in some Dexter Williams if they need it, but obviously Amari Odom is the starting QB. I don't trust this defense against Kennesaw. Against Jack State. I don't trust it. They gave up 42 points last week to Liberty, and they knew what the Flames were doing. They knew what Liberty wanted to do every single down. Hand the ball off to Dickens, and they had no stop for it. Kennesaw gives up so many points defensively, I just can't pick them to win this game. And again, we saw this game 4 weeks ago in Jacksonville, Alabama. Who won? Jack State. Jack State won the game by 9 points, 35-26. How did they run the ball? Very well. It's like the same numbers every week. Cam Cook, 132 yards on 27 carries. Caden Creel, 14 carries for 127 yards. Caden Creel, throwing-wise, went 8 for 13. Gavin Wimsatt did come in and throw for a 62-yard touchdown at the end of the first half. Again, I guess, they do still have some packages with Wimsatt. Wimsatt's still the captain of this team. I see on their Instagram page, Wimsatt's still very involved with the program. He just doesn't start. Again, through the Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Has a better arm than Creel does in all fairness. But they do the same thing every game. Again, Creel's going to throw the ball 15 times, 150-ish yards. They're going to take their shots, let their guys run. And then obviously it's going to be Cam Cook and Caden Creel, really the only two guys who run the football at all for Jack State. I just don't know how Kennesaw beats this team after losing to them 3 weeks ago and putting up the performance. And sure, they won last week, but allowing Liberty to score that many points on you and run the ball like that on you as well. They played the Missouri State Bears a couple weeks ago, and Missouri State put up 34 points on them, and Shamari Lawrence ran for 180 yards. They have trouble stopping the run. What would be any different tonight? Games in Jacksonville as well, Jacksonville, Alabama, and Jack State has won 11 consecutive home games. I'm going Jacksonville State at home. I don't understand why they're plus money. Give me the Gamecocks. On to our second best bet. Let's move to the other game on Friday. North Texas Mean Green money line. If you're North Texas and if you're Tulane, you can taste the postseason. You are right there. You're on the doorstep of going to the playoffs. For the first time ever, the winner of the American Championship game is an automatic to get in the playoffs. I know what you're saying. Well, Cincinnati was in the American when they made the playoffs. They were. They weren't automatic, though, to get in. We still thought there's a chance they could have got squeezed out that year, right? And obviously, since he played, I think, was it USF in the championship game? I think it was USF. Obviously, if they had lost that game or if USF had won, USF was not going to the playoffs. Whoever wins tonight between UNT and Tulane are going to the college football playoffs. It's remarkable the American Conference has gotten themselves at this position, but here you are. Obviously, with JMU being 25 and UNT and Tulane both having higher rankings and playing each other, playing ranked matchups, the winner of this game is automatically in. JMU obviously is cheering desperately for the Duke Blue Devils. Regardless, though, taking North Texas. I understand, again, it's an American Conference game, and, all the games on Friday are at home college campuses. All the games on Saturday are neutral sites, right? Big 12 championship games is in Jerry's World, MAC games at Ford Field, SEC, obviously, at the Falcon Stadium in Atlanta, Big 10 title games at Lucas Oil, and then the ACC title game is in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. All the games on Friday are on college campuses, right? Taking back to the good old days, where the Pac-12 would have their game at 7:30 on Friday night in Santa Clara, California. That was my childhood, going to every single one of those. Anyways, I'm taking Tulane to go on the road and I'm taking North Texas to go on the road and beat Tulane. Absolutely. We are putting all this faith in this North Texas offense and what Drew Mestamaker can do. Back to back to back. 50-plus point games for the Mean Green. How is Tulane going to keep up? Guys, over half of North Texas's games this year, they've scored 50 or more points. Yeah, good luck keeping up. How many times has Tulane scored 50 points all year long? Oh, yeah, they haven't. And I get it. Tulane has not lost at home this season. In all fairness, Tulane has had a very light schedule this year, with the exception of going to Memphis and playing the Tigers, who didn't really turn out to be the best team. And I get it. Oh, they beat Northwestern. They beat Duke. Okay, yeah. Conference-wise, they did not. The American's good this year. Tulane did not have to play the best conference schedule. And sure, North Texas didn't either, but that offense translates against anybody. Look what they did against Wazoo. 59 points against Washington State, and I get it. Wazoo became a better team as the year went on, but that's still impressive. And look at the numbers Drew Mestemaker's putting up on a weekly basis. 469 yards 2 weeks ago against Rice. 366 yards last week against Temple. Obviously, everyone knows the 608-yard performance on the road in October at Charlotte. He is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And he's going to play in a Power 4 program next year, and he's going to be huge. Again, I hope it's Indiana. I don't think it's going to be Indiana. I think Indiana, again, I'm not going to complain about Sam Leavitt. By the way, no Indiana today in the video. I'm going to give that away right now, okay? I think they're going to win. I think they're going to cover. There's 5 games I like more. I'll just be honest, okay? I want Indiana to win. I'm going to stay off that game. Anyways, though, Mestemaker is one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and no defense has really been able to stop him except for South Florida. UNT made a lot of mistakes in that game, and they dug themselves into a hole way too early. That's not something I think Tulane can do to them. I get it, Tulane's at home, games in New Orleans. I'm not that concerned about it. Also, it's like, I don't think the Tulane offense is able to go shot for shot and blow for blow against UNT. I like Jake Retzlaff a lot, former Brigham Young quarterback. He gets a chance again to punch his ticket into the playoffs, and BYU, who obviously suspended him and basically kicked him off the team, might not be in the playoffs. Retzlaff's been good. He does a lot. He's not Drew Mestemaker. Again, we've talked about it. Tulane has established a run game the last couple weeks with a freshman running back out of Alabama and Jamari McClure. McClure only has 300 yards in the season, but really has only started the last 3 games, and he's put up, he's had 95 yards in one game, 100 plus in one other, and 70 in the other game. McClure's been huge for the team. But they are very dependent on Retzlaff and what Retzlaff can do with his arm, but also in the running game as well, as Retzlaff is going to take off quite a bit for Tulane, and usually he will get into the end zone at least once, rushing-wise, on a nightly basis. This comes down to, though, Tulane's offense. Because I believe North Texas can score against any other Group of 5 team in the country. Now, when we get onto the playoffs and North Texas is, the matchup that I guess we can expect them to get, which is Oregon or Ole Miss or A&M, or Georgia, it's probably not going to go well for them. But against another Group of 5 team, North Texas is going to be able to score. And I do need to put this out there, guys. Tulane did only score 27 points on Charlotte. They scored 3 touchdowns in the first half, and they did not score another touchdown for the rest of the game. All their touchdowns, by the way, were quarterback sneaks by Jake Retzlaff. He had 3 of them. Or sorry, 2 of them. Javin Gordon had the other one. Regardless, though. Drew Mestemaker put up 609 yards on Charlotte. And I know, it's tough to compare common opponents, and it is. But I don't think Tulane can keep up with what North Texas does offensively, and you are pressed to score every single time you touch the ball. Do I love North Texas's defense? No. But I think they're able to hold Tulane enough, and I think you're just asking a lot out of Retzlaff and Tulane to win this football game against a team like this. It's great that they're at home. I'm still going with the favorites and the road favorites at that. Give me North Texas moneyline minus 130 on the road at Tulane. On to our third best bet of the video, and yes, we are staying in the Group of 5. I'm taking 3 out the 5 Group of 5 games for best bets, and I heavily considered going UNLV spread on this as well. I love Western Michigan to beat Miami of Ohio. I absolutely love it. Go check out our predictions if you want to pick on BYU Tech. I think that pick is very playable as well if you want to go to that. My favorite bet, though, for the morning slate is West Michigan. And I know this is not as intriguing of a matchup. It's the MAC title game. Who cares? Winner goes to, the New Orleans Bowl probably, or something along the lines of that. I get it. It's not a huge spot. No, they don't even go to the Bahamas Bowl. I think it's New Orleans Bowl. Anyways, right? Or the Games Above Sports Bowl. That's usually the loser, I think. Anyways, I think WMU has such a big advantage over Miami of Ohio here. Okay, I know I made the reference earlier. Well, okay, Jack State's already beat Kennesaw, so they should do it again. But obviously, there were matchup things that I liked, for Jack State in that game, and why, again, I think they can win for a second time against the Owls. And I will say it now, again, Miami of Ohio has the 1 victory over Western Michigan this year in the MAC. WMU has lost 1 game this year in the Mid-American, and it is to the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Game was on the road in Oxford, Ohio, and Miami of Ohio had their starting quarterback. Their starting quarterback, DeQuan Finn, former Toledo Rocket, then went to Baylor, came back to the MAC to play at Miami of Ohio, has left the team. After their game against Ohio, in which they lost, DeQuan Finn leaves the team to go prepare for the NFL draft. Whatever. I've had my theories about that. Again, go watch our predictions videos for my theories about the DeQuan Finn situation. They have to start Henry Hessen, who is another senior. Hessen eventually gets benched for Thomas Gutowski, who is a true freshman, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's a freshman. I think he's a true freshman, who's played well so far, but he's played well against a piss-poor Buffalo defense and the very bad Ball State Cardinals. Now you go from that, potentially the two worst defenses in the Mid-American Conference, to a big spot in an NFL stadium against the best defense in the MAC in Western Michigan. Yeah, that's trouble. That's beyond trouble for Miami of Ohio, I think. What WMU does defensively, guys, they went to East Lansing, Michigan, and held Michigan State to 23 points. I understand that team won 4 games this year. Still, that's an accomplishment. It's a very good accomplishment. This team played North Texas earlier this season, took them to overtime, lost by 3 points. WMU's good. And they have a quarterback in Brock Lowry, who's dual threat guy. Is he the best player in the MAC? Probably not. No, definitely not. There's Navarro, Gleason, whoever you want to give that to. I mean, I would, consider some of the backs in this conference as well, who are pretty solid. But Brock Lowry's having a good year, right? Dual threat quarterback, keeps you on your toes. Not the best arm, but he's going to run, and he's going to run quite a bit. WMU allows Brock Lowry to run anywhere from, 15 to 25 times per game, and he's very effective at doing so, right? Think Parker Navarro, but just less experienced and has, a bright future. But it's that defense at a WMU, man. I mean, they can have games where Brock Lowry, like the Northern Illinois game, throws for 32 yards, and yet their defense is so good, they pretty easily win. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They beat the Central Michigan Chippewas. They beat Ohio. They went to DeKalb, Illinois, and beat Northern Illinois, and then went on the road to East Michigan and got to play the Eagles and beat them by 10 points. Another factor, too, West Michigan's coming off a mini bye, which, I think helps. It's a whole thing with the college football playoffs, obviously, where, Ohio State and Indiana are going to play tonight or on Saturday, and they're not going to play again until either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So you're basically off entire month. And that's, obviously, we saw those teams last year, the 4 teams with byes last year, all lost in the second round of the playoffs. And sure, you can make the case, well, those teams are just not as good as the teams that won in the first round. And sure, again, that might be true. There's a conversation to be had about, well, these teams have been off for a month. And obviously that's going to be something that both Indiana and Ohio State, regardless of the result on Saturday, are going to be forced with. And probably if Georgia, if they win, or Texas Tech, if they win, they're going to have to be, they're going to be dealt those cards too. But in a spot like this, where West Michigan gets the entire last week off, they played 3 straight Tuesday games to close their year, right? They went up to Ypsilanti, Michigan, beat EMU on a Tuesday night. They got to watch all the games on Saturday. They got to watch Miami of Ohio, who they probably thought was going to be their opponent because all they needed to do was beat Ball State. So they probably assumed it was going to be the Red Hawks, and obviously it was. And Miami of Ohio, again, it's only, they get a week off. They get a week, you play on Saturday, you play it next week, obviously, 7 days later against Western Michigan. Okay, WMU has had, 12 days to get ready for this game? They've known too, it's not like they were waiting, are we getting in, are we getting in, are we not? No, WMU has known they're going to be in this game. They've been preparing to be in the Mountain West title game for weeks. And, you win on Tuesday, okay, you're right back in the film room, you're right back in the facilities, getting ready for the MAC championship game. They're going to get it done this week. Against a guy in Gutowski who has looked good so far, but now he's taking on the best defense in the MAC. Brock Lowry, I know, did not have a great game in their first one against Miami of Ohio. I do want to say, though, game was on the road, and it took a miraculous comeback at the end for Miami of Ohio to win. WMU was up 17-9 in the fourth quarter, and Miami of Ohio put up 17 unanswered on them in the fourth quarter. So good on the Red Hawks. By the way, though, that was DeQuan Finn doing that. If Gutowski gets put in that big of a hole, again, Gutowski looks like he's going to be really good. The games I've seen him, he's been great. But bad defenses he's played, and he's not really been put in a very difficult spot yet. This is rough. I'm going WMU to win at Ford Field. Western Michigan money line. They will be the MAC champs, -130. On to our 4th best bet of the video. We go to the SEC championship game in Atlanta, Georgia. And yes, guys, this is it. Kirby is finally going to beat Bama. It's not Saban anymore, obviously, even though he's already lost to DeBoer. I understand. But this is the time where Georgia finally beats Alabama in the regular season, right? Obviously, they did it in the national championship game a couple years ago, or a few years ago now. This is when they do it. Georgia is going to take Bama down, and they are going to punch their ticket into the second round of the college football playoffs and receive a bye with a victory over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Absolutely. I know they have not looked the best. It comes to a point where eventually you're going to beat this team. I mean, guys, I know Kirby's record against, Saban was 1 in 11. I don't think it was that bad. It's 1-7. But anyways, he's already 0-2 against DeBoer. I don't think he loses a third time in a row. And I think, I don't want to say Georgia losing is going to help them, but in a way, the first game to Bama, but in a way, losing that initial game to Alabama and refocusing and winning now 9 consecutive games to close your year, or 8 consecutive games to close your year, and get them back in the same exact spot with a virtual home game. And I understand Bama travels well. You're going to see a lot of Alabama fans in Atlanta for this football game. Still, though, it is a virtual home game for you. Go out there and take care of business against an Alabama team who, again, found a way to win, obviously, in the Iron Bowl. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to go at them too hard for that game, even though, again, they got some favorable calls in that game. And obviously, again, we expect that game to be difficult, right? It's the Iron Bowl. It's a rivalry game. It's Bama-Auburn. Going to Auburn is always difficult, right? Saban has talked about, there's weird things happen over there, obviously, right? At Jordan Hare. I get it. So I'm not going to go out there playing a close game there, but it's just the last few weeks of Bama football have not been that good. Dating back, when's the last time Bama has really impressed you? Tennessee game? They've just gotten by all year long. And let's not forget, by the way, the worst loss any team in the playoffs is going to have this year is losing to 5-win Florida State on the road in Tallahassee. I just want to put that there. Because the Florida Gators beat Florida State this year. Alabama lost by 14 points. Just saying. Hey, the Virginia Cavaliers, who are probably going to be in the playoffs, have a win over Florida State. Alabama doesn't. I just want to put that out there. But Bama's not looked good. Ty Simpson had, obviously was, I don't know if he's still the favorite to be the number 1 pick. I think it's ridiculous if he is over Mendoza, but whatever. The Simpson Heisman campaign was, full force. Oh, this is the best quarterback in college football. He's taken, a step. He's, been flung down a step essentially over the last couple games. He's not played as well. I'm looking at the Heisman Trophy race real quickly. How did Diego Pavia jump Julian Sayin for the Heisman Trophy? Oh my god. If Ohio State wins the Big Ten title game, they're going to give it to Pavia over Mendoza, aren't they? Oh my goodness, no shot. That's so absurd. That dude has talked his way into winning the Heisman. What, to be a 6th round pick in the NFL draft? Oh, that's so absurd, man. He's 25, get a job. I know he's 23, but still, that's absurd. Anyways, Ty Simpson is no longer, by the way, the odds-on favorite to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. That is currently Fernando Mendoza. It goes Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Ruben Bay, and Dante Moore. All right, if you're betting plus 500 for Dante Moore to be the number 1 pick in the draft, you are actively throwing money into the fire pit. What are we doing? That's absurd. Lenora Sellers is higher odds to be the number 1 pick than Caleb Downs. I know no one's going to pick Downs at number 1, but really? Whatever. Anyways, Bama does not look really good, though. Okay, they barely get by Auburn. Okay, whatever. I'll forego that. They found a way to lose at home to Oklahoma. LSU, you barely get by. South Carolina, barely get by on the road. Yeah, they look good against Tennessee. That's the last good victory they've had. Georgia, I understand it's been tough for them too, but the Texas game, they put belt to ass. Ole Miss game, they look good. Scored a bunch of points. I know the Georgia Tech game was close. Again, if I'm giving Bama that same leniency, though, of, the rivalry game, Iron Bowl, I'm going to give that same exact thing to Georgia, who played, by the way, probably a better team. Even though Tech sucks, I understand. Bama's injured, though, this week, right? Bama's injured. Jam Miller's questionable. If he plays, he's definitely not going to be 100%. Their left tackle, Overton, out as well. It's a big factor, man. That's a big factor. It's an injured team going into the SEC title game. I know Bama's playing for the season. It's not going to be for a lack of motivation, obviously, right? Alabama knows what this means for their year, right? There is a very simple path where Alabama can miss the playoffs with results on Saturday. Brigham Young beats Texas Tech. Bama's probably out. Just that's the way that's going to go, I think. But I don't know now, though. Here's the thing. We don't know because of the committee ranking Bama ahead of Notre Dame. But are they going to drop Bama because of the Georgia loss? So who knows? Because, again, the committee just chooses, we want as many SEC teams as possible. Yeah, let's see. We can get how many SEC teams? We can get 5 out of the 12 teams being out of the SEC. You know what? Yeah, we couldn't put 6 in. Give them 5. Whatever, man. Like, BYU is going to get screwed out of the playoffs for Bama or whatever. Miami's not getting in. They have the same record as Notre Dame, and they beat Notre Dame. Just whatever. It's not even an SEC thing. It's just stupid. I'm taking Georgia. I think the defense is going to shut down Ty Simpson. Bama's got an injured offense, and it comes to a point, Kirby Smart, you have to finally beat Alabama. At home. He's never beaten Alabama in the state of Georgia. Get it done. The school, the program, the team hasn't beaten Bama in the state of Georgia since 2007. Get it done this week. It comes to a point where eventually you got to do it. Give me Georgia. Final best bet of the video. We go to the ACC title game. Yes, no Big Ten championship game. Go Hoosiers. I'm going to leave it at that. I do think Indiana's going to cover. I do like these 5 bets better. Okay, this is number 6. And I'll tell you the UNLV was 7. And the other ones were not in consideration. The Big 12 game not in consideration. Sun Belt game not in consideration. And neither was... that's it. So, yeah, the other 2 games were not in consideration. Anyways, I'm taking Virginia to beat up on Duke. Guys, and I'm telling you this right now, the ACC is not going to allow Virginia to lose this game. If there was ever a game that was going to be rigged, okay, and you want to complain about rigging, if you want a game to complain about the refs in Vegas rigging one, it's not going to be Vegas rigging this game, it's going to be the Atlantic Coast Conference. There is no way the ACC is going to allow the Virginia Cavaliers to lose this game. Any little call is going Virginia's way. Because you know why they're going to make Virginia win? They're going to ensure Virginia wins. The ACC is going to collapse if the Virginia Cavaliers can't win this game. Because this is a huge game for college football. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be watching Indiana, Ohio State, but obviously I'll be watching Virginia as well with UFC too. Oh my goodness, there's 3 things to watch at the same time. This game goes beyond just a playoff berth and just another ACC title game. Because last year was SMU Clemson, and actually the best thing happened for the ACC. Clemson won, so both them and the Mustangs of Southern Methodist got into the postseason. Virginia loses this game. Duke wins. They win the ACC. They then go on to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl and not get in the playoffs, and the James Madison Dukes find their way into the playoffs instead. That would collapse the ACC, and it would then start the formation of the 2 super conferences in college football. I would argue, and I'm serious, this is how big this is, because I know Clemson, the big programs will not be happy. Clemson, Florida State, Miami, they will all threaten out, and I'm telling you this is what's going to happen before the formation of the 2 super conferences. These teams are going to join the Big 12. The best teams from the ACC will join the Big 12. Miami will try to get into the SEC. Some teams will try to get in the Big 10, right? And the other teams are just going to leave for the new Pac-12. And I'm telling you, the ACC is going to collapse if Virginia does not win this football game. Because if you cannot ensure that your conference, they screwed it up, it should be Virginia-Miami, but if you can't ensure your conference winner does not get in the postseason and you're the Atlantic Coast Conference, this thing is going to collapse. I'm telling you right now, it's going to. I don't know if it's next year, it's the year after, but I think it will be this year. I think you're going to see Miami go to the SEC. You're going to see, a huge super conference in the Big Ten. The Big Ten's going to welcome in, I don't know, they're going to bring in Florida State and Miami are going to go to the SEC. You're going to see the Big Ten take probably, I would think, Virginia, Pitt, Georgia Tech probably goes. They'd take Clemson too into the Big Ten. And then the Pac-12 would probably take an SMU. They'd take Cal back. They'd take Stanford. They'd take probably Syracuse for basketball purposes. Louisville probably goes to the Pac-12. And now we get 16 teams in the Pac-12. I'm telling you, every single team would find their way out of this thing. If Duke wins this game, Duke would find themselves probably in the Pac-12 next season. Now they'd probably go to the Big Ten because they won it from basketball. And again, I don't know how it's going to work for basketball. Obviously, the ACC is a basketball conference. I understand. But I'm telling you, we might get a situation where it's like the Big East. The Big East just exists for basketball. It does not exist for football anymore. I'm telling you, that's the type of situation we're going to get, where the football conferences will just be different, and it'll be like basketball, be like the Big East in basketball. Because that is what's going to happen if Duke wins this football game. And I haven't even broken down the game. I'm going to. right? But that's what's at stake in this game. So the ACC will not allow the Duke Blue Devils to win. Games in North Carolina. Duke obviously is in North Carolina. I don't think they're going to have the biggest turnout in this game. And you don't understand how big of a game this is for Virginia Cavaliers football, okay? I mean, this team hasn't been in a major bowl game since, 18-19, where Bryce Perkins was playing, and obviously they got into the ACC title game that year. They got blown out by Clemson, but then by default of Clemson going to the postseason, then Virginia found themselves in the Orange Bowl. Or when Clemson go to the playoffs, they found themselves in the Orange Bowl, and they played a competitive game against Florida, but ultimately lost, right? This is the biggest game in Virginia Cavaliers school history, and they will come through. And beyond the fact where, okay, the ACC's doomed if Duke wins, it's going to collapse, they're going to rig it for Virginia. This game happened 3 weeks ago, and Virginia beat them at Duke by 17 points. What changes? It's a game that Duke was favored in. And honestly, I thought initially at the beginning of the week, Duke was going to win because Chandler Morris got injured in the week prior against Wake Forest. Morris plays, Virginia wins. Same thing happens this week. Virginia is the much better football team. Duke has a puncher's chance, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to act like Duke isn't dangerous because they absolutely are. The thing is, though, Virginia is the better team, and Virginia is going to get the benefit of the officiating and the benefit of the ACC. Because, honestly, this is the one case where I wouldn't mind if they kind of, put their hands all over this game. You got to save your conference. And to a point, you have to kind of save college football, too. I mean, I guess if the teams go to the Pac-12, the Pac-12 is just going to replace the ACC. But I'm telling you, this is a college football defining game this weekend. Yeah, the biggest game at the time will still be number 1 versus number 2, Indiana versus Ohio State, obviously. It's the top 2 teams in the country. But this affects the future of the sport. And that's what's on the line between Virginia and Duke. And don't get me wrong, again, Virginia is the better football team. Chandler Morris is good. I'd say maybe Mensah is better. I like Morris, but Darren Mensah is a good quarterback at the same time. I understand. It's a big football game. Duke's dangerous. But again, Virginia is just better than this squad, and I do believe the Cavaliers are going to get it done. I like what Virginia does defensively. Again, they shut down Duke to 17 points in North Carolina a couple weeks ago. And the offense has been good all year long as well. I mean, again, we saw 34 points in that matchup for Virginia. Chandler Morris had 316 yards. They had a big day on the ground as well, as Jamari Taylor had 133 rushing yards against Duke as well. And again, that was not in Virginia. It was on the road in North Carolina. By the way, it's a homecoming for Jamari Taylor this week, or on tomorrow night from Charlotte, getting to play his final regular season college football game in Charlotte as well. Virginia doesn't just win, they will cover 3.5 points as well, minus 120 to punch their ticket into the college football playoffs and likely a road trip, well, definitely a road trip, and likely a spot in either Eugene, Oregon, or Ole Miss. Virginia wins and advances to the college football playoffs. Folks, thank y'all for watching our college football best bets here for week number 15 and the conference championship week as well. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back on Monday for our college football predictions again for week 16. We've got Army-Navy game. We got the Celebration Bowl. We're going to get some FCS action in as well, alongside, obviously, the Los Angeles Bowl, too, on Saturday night. So make sure to join us for that. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching the best bets all year long. If this is the end for best bets this season, thank you guys for watching. We'll definitely be back next year again with the 10 best bets to start the season. I guess, actually, 5 best bets for week 0. But I'll see you guys next year for best bets, and make sure to join us again on Monday for more college football weekly content and predictions. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.